Okay, so this last couple sections, first thing we're going to talk about is string arrays. And you're going to see that string arrays are really no different than the other arrays. It's a different data type. So let's go ahead and bring up the month days. And you're going to see that we have string, and notice we have the square brackets. So you can find this as an array. The name of this array is going to be called months, and we go ahead and initialize it with the 12 different months. So we have January through December. We also have another array. It's an integer array, and it says it's called days, and it basically has 31, 28, the number of days for each month. What we call this is we call this a parallel array, meaning that the two arrays are related, meaning the element 0 and element 0 of both basically are related. They basically kind of work in the same, in this case we've got January and then the days of the month for January, so it's basically kind of the same thing. One's a string, one's an integer. So we come in here, we have a for loop that we're going to make sure we do stay within the length or the number of elements within months. And we're going to say months index has days index days. That's basically all there is to it. So we get the so again, since they're parallel, we're going to grab the name of the month and then the number of days in that month. So if we run this, I think you'll kind of see what it's going to do. So basically it says January has 31, so on and so forth. So not too bad. Like I said, there's really not that much difference between a string array and any of the primitive arrays as well. So I kind of alluded to this within the forum, but we're going to skip 7.7 because then we talks about arrays of objects. And again, since we have not covered OO, we're going to go ahead and skip that. So continuing on, section 7.8 gets into what's called a sequential search algorithm. So what we're going to find out is we really have two types of searches. We have what is called a linear search, and that starts with LINE. And the way you can think about that is it's just going to go line by line by line searching for something. Then we have what is called a binary search, which sorts all of the records by a certain field, and then I can take that group of records and I can take my record and say cut that in half, and is what I'm searching for in the top half or bottom half. Then it takes just that half and cuts it in half and says is it in this half or this half. And there's some kind of a mathematical equation where it can actually cut that in half so many times and it can drill down really super fast. There's also one more that is not real popular, but it still works. It's called a bubble search. What that means is what I'm searching for, kind of that area keeps floating to the top as I start going through and grabbing records until I finally get mine to basically get to the top. So if we take a look at the search array, I'm on page 452. There we can see that we have two integers. First integer is an array, and the name of that array is tests, and it's initialized with 5 different elements. So it's a 5-element array. And int results has nothing. So we say results equals sequential search, and notice it's italicized. That means it's a method within this particular project. And I'm going to pass it tests and the number 100. Okay. Now again, I would avoid a number like that. I would put that into some kind of a final constant. So we really don't want to hard code numbers like that. And then we say if results equal -1. What's negative? What's -1? Well, as you're going to see here, when we do a search, if it doesn't come up with anything, the results are automatically set to -1, less than 0. So I like to actually say if results are less than 0 here. So if they are, if it is -1, basically we're fine, because there are certain instances where it can be set to something else than -1, like -2 or that type of thing. So I myself would have said if results are less than 0 there. But anyways, so what that says is if it's set to -1 right off the bat, you did not find earn 100 on any test. Else, if it's greater than -1, then you earn 100 on the test, and then it basically shows results plus 1. Okay, so if we come down here, we can see here is our sequential search, and we passed it the array and the number 100. So there's my array I'm bringing in, and there's my value, okay, which is 100. And I've got int index, int element, and boolean found. I set my index to 0. I could have done that up here. Element is set to -1, so it's kind of saying right off the bat I haven't found anything. You proved me wrong. And then found equals false. So while not found and index is less than the array length, so the number of elements in that array, we're going to say if the array index equals value, meaning 100, so if the element of this array at that index is equal to 100, found equals true. And I say element equals index, and then index. Okay, so basically what we've done there, so element is -1. I set the element to index, meaning it's now greater than -1, and then I increase the index by 1, and I basically go back up. Okay, and when I get done, I go ahead and return the element, which basically says that that's basically where it was found. So the index is set to the element. So if I found it at the 50th position, is that really the true position? Well, kind of. I mean, array-wise, yes. But if I was looking at the list of numbers, oh, that was number 50. Well, in an array, that would be 49. So as you notice, we come back here, we say results plus 1. So we can actually truly say, because we've got record 1, 2, 3, but an array says that's record 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's all we're doing there. So if we go ahead and I notice we do have 100 in there. So if I go ahead and run this, it says you earn 100 on test 4. Well, notice if we look over here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. But an array, going by the index alone, that's 0, 1, 2, 3. So again, we can see why we add 1 to results. So again, what we call this is a linear search. It goes line by line or item by item search and saying, are you 100? Are you 100? Are you 100? Are you 100? So again, a very, very slow search. Very slow search. Not like the binary or even the bubble. So, okay. So that's all we're going to cover this week. Next week we're going to get into two-dimensional arrays and a really, really cool array list. It's if you're going to deal with arrays, that's the best way to go. Again, more object-oriented, but we're going to kind of skip over that piece. But array list. So anyways, read the forum. I got some good information in there, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week. And again, if you have any questions, contact me.